Tonight's mailbag openings are accompanied by Frosty Bison Brown Ale from One Great City Brewing, also as a fundraiser for Fort Wayne Alive, which is a nature reserve and learning environment here in Winnipeg. And this beer is quite interesting as well for a fundraiser for them. Very nicely done. So the first thing in the mail says absorption line. I have no idea what an absorption line might be. Oh, it is desoldering wick. Looks like it's in a couple of different sizes. This one is a 4mm width, 1.5 meters long, and this one is 3mm. What? Oh, okay, it's kind of squashed out. So 3mm and 4mm widths. 3 meters on that one. That's a good deal. When I was doing some of the kit work a while ago, I found myself having to do a bit of rework because, I'm not that great at surface mount stuff yet. And I've been burning through solder wick that I had, so I figured I'd get a couple of different sizes. Desoldering braid, welding solder remover wick, wire, lead, cord, flux, BGA repair. All the best keywords all stuffed into one title. The 3 meters of 3mm was $2.89. And the 4mm 1.5 meters long was $2.59. Nothing super special, just your basic copper braid. This stuff I don't think has any flux in it, but that's fine because I always dip mine in flux before I use it anyway, just for extra flow of the solder. Off to a good start. The next thing in says plastic bag. It came from another anonymous donor to my P.O. box. Well, is plastic bag the new plastic sheet when they don't really want to say what's in there? No, it is in fact plastic bags, specifically anti-static plastic bags, or static dissipating technically. And it looks like, was that 50 or 100 of them? These are 5 centimeter by 9 centimeter. I suppose I could have looked at the packing slip that came with it. There are in fact 50 of them. And my donor bought them at auction for 25 cents for the package. Woohoo! Thank you, buddy. As always, when I don't have the exact listing, because it was an auction or something, I will link you to a search which finds it. It looks like somebody's got them on auction right now. It indicates to me, or suggests to me, that these are on auction fairly frequently. As always, when you're searching on eBay, change your sort to price plus shipping lowest first. Next thing in. Doesn't say what it is. I mean, at all. Not even customs wise. I guess that's because they're using... No, it doesn't look like they're using a reshipping warehouse, so I have no idea. What do we have in here? Oh, okay. So this goes in your PC case to replace one of the old 3.5-inch floppy drive bays or something like that, if you got that kind of thing. And it connects to the internal USB headers on the motherboard to give you more USB ports up front. Well, it looks like you could maybe unmount those if you just want it to fan out, but I think that'll be handy. On my workshop computer, I tend to have a few things plugged into USB. Mouse, keyboard, audio interface, an Arduino or two, various different things. So I'm always having to swap USB stuff around. So I think this should help me out. I can't guarantee that they're actually USB 3, but if it's available on the motherboard, then these will appear as a USB 3. Otherwise, they'll just be normal USB, which is fine. Well, that's a weird description. BTB coin 19 plus 1 20-pin 4-port USB 3 hub. It's not a hub. Front panel combo bracket USB 3 hub adapter for PC desktop 3.5 floppy disk drive bay. No, it's not a hub. It's just cables, but that's fine, I guess. I paid $13.43 for the thing. However, they show it as not available anymore or cannot be shipped to my address. I'm going to put a link to this anyway because down below and suggested it has similar things. So hopefully that would come up with something for you, or you can use some of these search terms. For instance, here's a different seller that has basically the same thing and cheaper at the moment, and it looks like it actually does have a hub in it, whereas the one that I got doesn't. Interesting. Moving right along, this one came from Austria. I think I know what it is based on the markings on the outside of the package. A little sticker, that's nice. We have a manual that tells us what it is. It is a USB-C to USB-C cable tester, and it breaks out all of the pins in the USB-C standard. And here it is. It even comes with a 2032 cell. That is what you like to see from a good reputable seller. This thing I actually bought from the guy who invented it, from his website. He also has it on eBay and a few other places, but it's actually cheaper to buy it directly from him. This is, as I said, a USB-C to USB-C tester. It's powered by a 2032, and it tests each of the pins on a cable. This isn't for testing ports. This is just for testing cables, testing the integrity of cables, make sure all of the pins pass through properly and aren't crossed or broken or anything like that. I learned about this from Andreas Spiess, the guy with the Swiss accent. I'll put a link to his video up in the corner, I guess, up there. And he was reviewing a few different testers. This one really stood out to me when he showed it, so I thought I really should get one. What's going on here? Oh, that screw in the corner. That screw in the corner holds the cell in place. Hang on. There we go. Although I don't know that this screw is absolutely necessary because that battery holder is quite tight, but I will play along because that's what the inventor wants. And now I guess I'll test a couple of random USB-C cables that I've got kicking around here. These are nothing special. Oh wow, it even just shows you the ground continuity right away through the shell. That's nice. As we can see on this one, we have D plus and D minus. We have the grounds. We have CC, V bus, and ground. And this is interesting that the D plus and D minus only show up on one side. But I believe if you flip one side over, yeah, then it migrates to the other side. I think that's a feature. I haven't read the manual yet, but I seem to remember that from the demonstration. Oh, and it also shows the shield down there separate from the grounds. Okay, just flipping through the manual a little bit. This is telling me which LEDs I should expect to light up for the different standards of cable, which is useful information. Here's the website. This particular one is the C2C Caber Q, currently selling for €28.80 without a case, which is the one that I got, or you can get one with a case for $38.40. And there is the full product description down here in details, and also the manual if you want to download it and take a peek for yourself. But it identifies that it tests all 24 pins and the shield, and tests cables for compliance with these various USB standards. I'm going to have to play with it a little bit, and like I said, test out all the cables that I've got around here, see if I've got any that are actually properly compliant. But in the meantime, I think it's a little bit more money than I usually spend for stuff, but I think it's going to be a useful piece of test equipment for those occasions when I have questions about USB-C cables. The old USB-A cables, you can get on them with a multimeter. It's not that hard, but when you start getting all these tiny little pins in the USB-C cable, you kind of need a real piece of test equipment to test them. And the last thing in, which is also the largest, as usual, comes from one of you guys. It comes from a guy named Carlton in New York. I think I recognize that name because I think I've seen him show up on my Patreon as well. So this is just maxing out generosity beyond what I've ever expected. But it's so cool when it happens. Let me just carve through this. I don't want to expose his address in here. Okay, we're that far into it. Let's see what we got here. 2 pieces and a bunch of packing stuff. Let's see, what does this? It says no serviceable parts. It is, whoa, a mini drone? Dude, wow. That's fun. What else we got in here? Let's just get that box out of the way. It's got a bit of weight to it. It's, oh no, is that a Furby? Oh no, it's a Hatchimals. Okay, it's a little electronic toy. It doesn't have a battery in it. So I'm wondering if this thing, well, let's, I'm confused, slightly intrigued. Let's throw a battery into it and see if it does anything, or if it is in fact a faulty device that he, oh no, it's got batteries in it. Okay. So it looks like it's a faulty device that he sent for teardown. I'm going to have to email him and just see what, in fact, his intention was. Oh, it's making noise. Well, that's weird and creepy. I saw that it's got wheels on the bottom of it. I can feel there's various push buttons. Oh, stop making creepy noises. So there's a push button there. The nose is a push button. I think the wings are, it seems to do things when you pat its head. Yeah, okay. There are wheels on the bottom of it, but they didn't seem to want to do anything with my various interactions with it. Yeah, okay. That's definitely a thing. Like I said, I'm going to email him and see what his intentions with that were. Because if it's a teardown thing, you know it's going to get a teardown. Meanwhile, let's take a look at this little drone here. And again, I don't know if it's a new thing. It looks like it's not. It's got a lot of tape on it, so it's not in factory condition necessarily. It's got a little manual here. Oh, it's just one of these tiny little drones. I've had a little drone come through here before that a buddy sent me, and its main chip was smoked. It wouldn't pair up. It wouldn't do anything. So I never got to play with a cheap little drone. So let's just see what's in here. I'm going to quickly pop these things out of the box. We've got a couple of batteries, a couple little lithium batteries, some propellers, a USB charging cable, and a phone clip. The remote control looks like that's where the phone clip goes. This goes on top of it. Really lightweight remote control here. We have two joysticks, flip, speed, place for that phone holder to go onto. I'm assuming that's up, down, and that's compass directions and power. Okay. And then the drone itself, and the more I dig into this thing, the more it looks like this is all factory packaging. It looks like this is in fact a new one that he sent me. So we have 4 motors with the 4 propellers are all labeled differently. That one's labeled A1, B1, A1, B1. Okay, so the diagonally opposite, power button, quickie there. It does have a wee camera on it. Oh my. And then there is the battery compartment for the little lithium battery that came with it. I am going to have to play with that once it's, you know, not minus 20 and windy and snowy outside. I mean, last week it was melting, now it's below. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to want to play with this outside. Maybe I'll actually try and fly it inside the garage first with the car out so that there's nothing that it can really hurt too much. And meanwhile, yeah, I'll charge these guys up and read these simple little instructions on it, which is like, what, just 4 pages of instructions, and play with that in the future. If it doesn't work, it's going to be a teardown. If it does work, well, maybe I'll do some drone footage of my dog running through the park or something like that. Carlton, buddy, thank you so much for your generosity. I truly appreciate it. Well, this has been an interesting mailbag. I'll start off with the things that I bought myself and ordered, which is these two different sizes of solder wick. Did you know that these things could actually click together, and you have a whole bunch of different sizes? Yeah, whatever. That's boring. I ordered this USB breakout for just to add some extra front panel ports to my computer. Kind of boring, but a handy little thing. This USB-C cable tester, yes, it was a little pricey. This is coming from just like a small one-man shop, and so I didn't mind spending a little bit extra just because it's, you know, to support a small shop guy. But I think this will come in handy for testing cables, and so far every one of the USB-C cables that I've got around here does not support the full USB 3 high-speed mode with dual lanes and everything else. So I'm going to have to search around a little bit more to try and find some super-duper quality cables. But I guess since I always buy the cheapest cables, it's not really a surprise, is it? No. And then from an anonymous source, we have the bag full of anti-static bags. Those are going to be useful to have around here. As I said during the wrist strap testing thing, static is, you know, you get cavalier about it. It doesn't always break things, but it's a good habit to get into to try and protect your components from static, especially the higher dollar ICs and the higher speed ICs and stuff like that. I get cavalier myself around here, but this hopefully will help me with some better habits. And now, Carlton, dude, you outdid yourself. I'm not quite sure what to make of this furry little guy over here. Be on the lookout for an email coming up. I'm going to ask you about him. And then this little drone. Yes, I know it's an inexpensive toy drone, but for what you can get for really cheap these days, it's just really surprising. And I'm looking forward to playing with this. I've never actually had a drone that works before, so I'm hoping that's what this is. And well, if you see some outdoor shots of my dog running through a field, you'll know what's happened. Once again, thanks to everybody who sends stuff in. Thanks to my YouTube channel members and Patreon supporters for helping me pay for the stuff that I do buy and helping me buy a beer once in a while. Appreciate that, guys. And to the rest of you, thanks so much for watching. As always, questions and comments down below. Let me hear what you got to say about this stuff. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.